Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well. Today we have a weird video for you, or tonight maybe. I don't know when you're watching this video, but this video is kind of weird. I filmed it like 2 months ago, and you can tell by the title, I'm sure, but I ate Mountain House for a week. 3 meals a day for 7 days. I ate 21 bags of Mountain House. Why did I do this? I don't really know. It just like sounded like a good idea, sounded like something I kind of wanted to try, to try out a lot of meals, some that I haven't had before, and then to see how I felt, but also to kind of open some eyes to preparedness in a sense. So Mountain House, you probably know of Mountain House meals from like backpacking. I ate a lot of Mountain House back when I used to backpack and stuff. They're like a bag, and you pour boiling water in and you let it cook for like 8 minutes, and then you can eat it out of the bag. But Mountain House meals also make up a large chunk of my survival prepper kind of food because they sell it in number 10 cans as well. So this video is kind of just to spotlight some food preparation, but also kind of like taste testing. And I don't know, it sounded fun to me, so I made the video, and this is the video. So if you're new to like wanting to be prepared, I made a video, actually not this video, but I made another video. I'll link to it up here, but it's like intro to prepping. It's called like Will You Survive? Are You Prepared? Something like that. And it covers a lot of topics about like being a more prepared individual. One of the main aspects of being prepared is having food, because if you don't have food, you're gonna die. You're gonna starve to death and you're gonna die. So preparedness, food, and then I just kind of do taste tests. Like I used to do these like Munch Packs box once in a while and eat stuff and kind of give my feedback on it. And people really like that. I don't know why. It's not really the direction of my channel, but I was like, hey, this kind of fits with that, so let's do it. I've already edited like the eating part of this video, and it's not great. Some's on my cell phone. I'm not like a vlogger. I'm hardly even a YouTuber. All that to say, I'm not used to really filming myself that much. I was filming myself 3 times a day. So I was preparing these Mountain House meals, and they're pretty easy to make, but then I was filming myself, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. So I was kind of out of it for half of them, and I don't know. It's not great, but I thought it was fun. I don't know. I hope you like it. But one other thing I wanted to do in this video, but the video was getting way too long, and so I cut out so much stuff of my like daily filming to do in a later video, is I tried to bring a bunch of different stoves, a bunch of different food preparation, basically just a stove to boil water. Because to make Mountain House meals, all you need is boiling water. So there's a lot of ways to boil water. There's a lot of different stoves. I have a lot of different stoves. A lot of them are like survival type stoves where you just like use twigs and stuff. So I'm gonna do a follow-up video where I'm gonna talk about these stoves more. That's not going to be this video. This video is just the food. So if you want the stove video, get subscribed, and I'll do that in the future. But this is a video on food, and I'll give some more thoughts at the end, but I hope you enjoy the next 7 days. All right, so we're on day 1 here. Actually, I already got this thing going. The fan actually automatically kicks on. So day 1 breakfast, the lighting is horrible out here. Scrambled eggs. Okay, so we got fire. So these will all have an oxygen absorber in them. You wanna take that out ahead of time, but if you forget, you can take it out after it's already cooked. And then all of them will have little directions on the back. So this one says 1 cup of water. Let stand for 3. You could stir it, and then 5 or 6. So about 8 or 9 minutes. That cooking time will go up depending on your altitude. So I measured 1 cup in there. I like to use these longer, these super long like spoon sport kind of things. Though this bag is pretty short, you can see that it has plenty of length. So I'll put this in here, mix it up a little bit, and let it cook. There's a little Ziploc kind of thing at the top that'll seal in all the, well, it'll just seal it in. So you could use this if it's cold. The bag gets really hot, so you can kind of warm up your hands on it. I do that, used to do that when I was backpacking and stuff. It's kind of like free heat, so why waste it? And then you just kind of set that aside if you don't need the heat for 8 or 9 minutes. I'm gonna let this BioLite kind of die out while I sit here next to it. The BioLite also gives off heat. Probably I wouldn't recommend picking it up like this normally, but here it is, and the fire's still going in here. So the fire will die out. The fan actually does a pretty good full burn on all the stuff in there, and if you just don't feed it, it'll die out pretty quick. So now, I don't want to drop this on the ground. You can see we got some fluffy eggs with little tiny bacon bits, kinda. All right, I was stacking some firewood while I waited for this to cool down. Still a little juicy. What you can do, and what I sometimes do if you have the time and energy, is you could dump this out into a skillet to kind of crisp it up, dissolve kind of the extra water, or evaporate the extra water. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna eat all these meals just right out of the bag like they come. But if you want to doctor these meals up, you can. You could add ketchup, seasoning, extra meat or vegetables to any of this stuff, really. It's just, I'm gonna eat it just like it comes. So this one's pretty good. Sodium is high. Sodium's gonna be high. I'm gonna have a high salt diet this week. So probably not necessarily recommended for you to do for a week straight for every meal, but it doesn't taste too salty, but I like salt, so I don't mind it. It's pretty good. I mean, the eggs are really fluffy. They don't quite taste like fresh eggs. Pretty good. Nothing amazing. I raised chickens for a number of years, so I'm kind of spoiled a little bit on eggs. I'm used to like super fresh eggs, but I actually haven't had chickens for a couple years now, so I'm used to regular eggs. But I'm thinking about getting chickens again. What do you think? Should I get some chickens again? Let me know down below if you would like to see that. Anyway, this is a pretty basic breakfast. Hearty, tasty, warm. So whether you're out backpacking or car camping or in a survival situation, it's a pretty hearty, filling, yummy meal. I mean, I'm not starving at all, and I still think it's pretty good, so I would say it's good. All right, for lunch, we are having chili mac with beef, and I just did a little electric kettle for that. Nice and quick and easy. So this is cooking. Here it is. I usually add a little bit less water than is recommended. I find that the recommended amount of water makes it a little juicy, but this is what it looks like with the recommended amount of water. All right, chili, mac, and beef, all gone. This one says it was 2.5 servings, but I ate it myself. Filled me up pretty well. I don't eat huge meals, but I don't eat tiny meals either. So I think it's a good size for one person. If you're super hungry, you might need to add a little bit to it. And if you don't eat much, then you might not be able to eat the whole thing. But it's good. It's chili mac with beef. It's basically like macaroni, like the macaroni and cheese, but with chili and beef. So I didn't need to add anything to it, really. Just like I'm not gonna add anything to these meals. You could probably add some cheese or something and it might make it a little better even, but it's really good. The beans and the pasta and the beef, super filling. One of my favorites. I probably should have saved it for the end when I was kind of getting sick of this stuff, but chili mac and beef, good stuff. So I'm trying out this little rocket stove. Okay, so we finally got it going a little bit here. I put my kettle up top. It's my first time using this, so I'm not sure how full to stuff this thing. It'll take a little bit of time to figure it out. For dinner, we have a Homestyle turkey dinner casserole, stuffing white turkey and vegetables. Sure sounds good. It's giving off a lot of smoke. I think I'm probably don't have the fire quite going as hot as it needs to be. This is what it looks like inside. Pretty good. Smells pretty good. honestly. Good boil going. Alright, so I haven't had this one before. Let's see how it is. That's real good. Tastes like Thanksgiving dinner. Which always makes me wonder, why do we only have Thanksgiving dinner at Thanksgiving? Like that turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes is so good. I've never had this one. So previously chicken and dumplings was my favorite Mountain House. Whew, but this one may dethrone it. It's got a little more like vegetable like texture and chewiness and stuff to it. But overall, man, it was a good meal so far. Breakfast, morning of day 2, feeling fine. Breakfast skillet is what we have here, which is hash browns and scrambled eggs mixed with pork sausage patty, peppers, and onions. This is, sorry, wasn't at my face. This is 2 servings. And this time I am cooking it on a little Esbit stove with a little cup with a lid. All right, day 2 breakfast is good. I like it a lot. I don't think I'm gonna say that about every meal. These first, I guess this is my 4th meal, are all good. They're all things I thought I would like. There's a few in here that I don't think I'll like. I'm not a big fan of vegetables, so we'll get to those later. I'm saving those for when Ashley's around, so that way she can give me a second opinion on if I don't like something, because she's, you know, she likes more vegetables and stuff than I do. So anyway, this is good. This and the breakfast yesterday, I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, are both a little smoky flavored. So if you're not a fan of smokiness, so far both of the egg breakfasts I've tried have had some little bit of smokiness. This I like better than yesterday's breakfast though. The breakfast skillet definitely I would say is better than just the eggs and bacon. All right, so this is good. Tastes a lot like just regular lasagna, except it's all in pieces. But one thing to note, don't know if you can tell, does leave like a, this was from mixing it earlier, leaves a layer of cheese, which is good. I like cheese. But you'll either have to scrape that off really good with your teeth or wash it well in hot water to get all that cheese off of it. It's good. All these meals, all these backpacking meals are pretty salty, as you could imagine. A lot of sodium. Okay, for dinner today, beef stew. This is the Solo stove. This is the not tiny one. This one's a little bigger than the small one. I forget how big. But got the fire going in here. Got a little kettle. Let's check out what we got here. So we have 2 cups of water. So this is one of the reasons I like Nalgene. You can kind of just check out the measuring here. So I got 20 ounces. Actually, let me drink a little. Cool, so 2 cups. So this guy goes up on top here. Then there's this little hole so I can feed fuel through like this into there. And it's a gasifier stove, so it's less smoky, more efficient burn. Looks kind of yummy.
Okay. Be careful.
Pour it in, yeah. Just the whole thing. This is, so these chunks are potatoes, beef chunks, peas, and carrots. And it's pretty good. It's pretty hearty. It's a pretty basic flavor, just kind of salt. I think there's a little bit of onion powder probably. I don't think there's any chunks of onions, and maybe a little bit of garlic powder. But good, just a good hearty meal. It is pretty juicy, so, but I mean it's stew, so it should be that way. So if you wanted it a little less juicy, you could add a little less water. If you wanted more, you could add more water. These meals aren't super precise science. Kind of if you want it more liquidy, you add more. But it's good. I could see this being really, really, really good on a colder night. So if it's a colder backpacking night or just a colder night in general, if you're out car camping, overlanding, whatever, just hearty. The flavors aren't too complex. Spices definitely aren't overpowering. I don't know. I think pretty well-rounded, balanced meal. Like all these meals, a little salty. I just hung these lights under my little front porch area, so just enjoying the night, and I'll finish off this meal. But I like it, a good hearty meal. All right, breakfast day 3, I believe. Biscuits and gravy. I know these are delicious. Buttermilk biscuits with gravy and pork patty crumbles. Anyone else have a husky? This is my girlfriend's dog, and it will not stop whining. Anyway, I'm using an old Jetboil multicam, very nice. And I have an adapter that can run it off of propane. So that's what's going down here. I'm out here eating some biscuits and gravy. Well, Tom Davis, he's on YouTube also, trains Atreyu.
Trey, come here.
On some. All right, day 3 lunch, pasta primavera. Ashley's here to help me eat it because I don't think I'll like this one very much. This is what it looks like on the inside.
Yoshi, come.
Noodles and a bunch of different vegetables. And then we are boiling the water just on the stovetop for this one because we gotta, Ashley's boiling some water for some other stuff too. So, it's not bad. It's feels not quite as flavorful as some of the other ones, but it's got like Parmesan cheese sauce kind of, which makes it pretty good. All the vegetables are pretty small, nothing too crazy, kind of just little pieces like this. And no vegetables that I find offensive really. Zucchini, cauliflower, broccoli, red and yellow peppers, green peas, and macaroni in a cheese sauce. So, definitely not my favorite meal ever, but not as bad as I thought it would be. Could totally eat it, just fine. Maybe I'll give Ashley a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna down the whole thing. Okay, we are doing day 3 dinner. Not gonna lie, kind of want something else other than Mountain House, but not the end of the world. At least I have variety. So this time we're doing chicken and mashed potatoes, 2 grilled chicken breasts with rib meat, and mashed potatoes is what it says. But the crazy thing is there's two actual grilled chicken patties. These are like they're super lightweight. It's crazy. I wonder if I could just eat them as is, but I'm not gonna try. So we got 2 of those, and then in its own bag is the powdered mashed potatoes. So the cooking instructions are a little different than any other Mountain House I've had, where you just add the water. This is like a 2-part process. You basically rehydrate the meat, and then you add the mashed potatoes, and then it's gonna be full chicken patties. So it's not gonna just be eating with a spoon, I guess. I'm not sure. I'll let you know how it goes, but this is definitely a first for me and interesting to see how it, I'm interested to see how it goes. And if I'll need like a knife to cut up the chicken, I'm just gonna do the electric kettle. So this is the meal. Basically you had to take the potato packet out, rehydrate the patties for 2 or 3 minutes, and then take the patties out and then put the packet of mashed potatoes into that water. They're basically instant mashed potatoes. So the process is weird, and honestly, you kind of need somewhere to put the patties after you take them out before you make this. So I don't know how this meal is, but we're gonna go ahead and eat it with the spork anyway. Not bad. It's, I would have preferred maybe some ranch or something. If I like brought a little side of ranch, maybe some hot sauce, I don't know, something to spice it up. The mashed potatoes are like garlicky, I think a little garlicky, a little butter, maybe some chives in there. I'm not sure. It's not horrible, but it's kind of weird just because this is the first meal, I'm guessing probably the only meal that I won't eat out of the bag. So that's a little interesting. So I'll just try a piece of chicken by itself. It's super tender. Basically just grilled plain chicken. I don't think there's any flavoring to it at all. Anyway, when mixed together, this is how I would eat it. A little bit of potato, a little bit of chicken. It's pretty good. I think I would have preferred this meal if the chicken was like already diced and you just cooked it together and ate it out of the bag, since that's essentially what I'm doing now, but kind of a interesting change. All right, this is day 4, I believe. Breakfast. We're having the breakfast hash. Spicy Southwest breakfast hash. Potatoes, shredded beef, green chilies, black beans, and corn. It actually looks and smells pretty good. I think I'm gonna like this. Just doing the electric kettle for this one, and we'll get it cooking. All right, so breakfast hash was good. I didn't really read this carefully. I thought there was eggs, but there's no eggs. Just shredded potatoes, so like hash browns, and then shredded beef, green chilies, black beans, and corn. I didn't even realize there was corn. And a little bit spicy. I thought the seasoning was just the right amount, not too bland, not too sodium-y, so can recommend. All right, day 4, I think. Lunch is a chicken fajita bowl, seasoned chicken with rice, black beans, corn, and fire roasted peppers and onions. Let's take a peek inside. This, I think, I already had a bite, it's good, would be really awesome if you brought some tortillas along and you make a little burrito kind of thing, because that's basically what it is. It's like it's a burrito bowl, essentially. So if you bring a tortilla, you want to add a little bit of extra, or maybe feed 2 people out of this, tortilla would make it good. It's a little bit on the, a little bit on the bland side maybe. Maybe add a little seasoning, a little hot sauce, spice it up a little bit. But it's good. I mean, if you like burrito bowls, this one will do the trick for you. And yeah, I mean, it's got rice and beans and chicken, so it should be pretty filling. Should give you quite a bit of energy. And yeah, it's burrito bowl. For tonight's dinner, I'm having beef stroganoff. This is one I like. I don't really like the little chunks of mushrooms in it, but it ain't bad. I accidentally dropped a couple of pieces on the ground that Trey is eating. Requires 2 cups of water that I'm making on the BioLite. I just grabbed a few twigs and some pieces from my wood chopping pile, just kind of like little scraps. So that's what I'm using there. So we'll boil this water. Actually sounds like it might be going already. And then dump it on in. I didn't even say, I'm filming on my cell phone, but I'm also charging my cell phone through the BioLite as well. All right, so we got boils coming off of this. Actually, super quick. The BioLite with this little attachment goes fast. So we will pour that in there through this little spout. Set that over there. Hope I don't burn my deck down while this kind of burns off. The thing about these kind of stoves is there's never a way to turn them off really. Just kind of burns down once it's done burning. All right, we're gonna mix this up and close the bag and let it cook. But I'll keep charging my cell phone while I do that. All cooked, had a couple bites already. I've had this meal quite a bit. It's basically noodles, some creamy, kind of like cream of mushroom type sauce, little beef crumbles, and then little pieces of mushrooms. I could go without the mushrooms, but if you like mushrooms, you'll like the mushrooms. I can deal with them. There's not a ton of them, but overall pretty good. Kind of creamy, kind of yummy. The flavor isn't overpowering at all. Pretty simple, easy meal. I like it a lot. If you've had beef stroganoff, you know what this is. And yeah, I mean, nothing too exciting. Not my favorite Mountain House meal, but a pretty good one. I buy these in the big cans because it's something I don't think I would get sick of too easily, and it feels pretty nourishing. So I'm at my office today. I forgot my real camera, so this is on my phone. But we're making the breakfast skillet. I think this is the second time I've had this, so it'll be the same as last time probably. But I'll let you know how it goes. This is I think it's day 5 breakfast. So, and I don't know where my camera is on my phone really. Day 5 breakfast, feeling good. The breakfasts are probably some of my favorite meals, honestly. I just like breakfast food in general. All right, for lunch, day 5 lunch, chicken and dumplings with vegetables. This is probably my previous favorite Mountain House meal. Just really yummy. Obviously, as with all things, a little soggier than your standard chicken and dumplings maybe, but it's kind of already a soggy mix. But this is one I already know I like. I've had a couple other good meals during this 4 previous days, so I'm not sure if chicken and dumplings will be my favorite still, but I'll let you know kind of my final thoughts at the end of kind of like what my favorite meals were. Anyways, chicken and dumplings, it's cooking right now. Poured the water in just from the electric kettle, and we'll get into it. I probably will eat with the rest of the guys here. We have a table at our office, so I'll feel a little weird filming there, but I maybe will film like my afterthoughts. All right.
This place, not a lot of Mac users. It's like the whole.
All right, chicken and dumplings was good. It's kind of like, kind of reminds me of like a chicken pot pie if you just kind of broke it all up into kind of mush and ate it, which sounds kind of gross, but it's actually pretty good. So one of my favorites still, just as good as I remember it. So chicken and dumplings is always a good choice for Mountain House meals. All right, so we got day 6 breakfast, and this is one of my favorites just because it tastes really good. It's granola with milk and blueberries, so it's kind of like cereal. It's a little bit crunchy. I mean, it's granola with milk essentially, though all you add is water, so there's kind of like some powdered milk kind of stuff in here. So it's kind of crunchy, it's sweet, it's got blueberries in it. It takes no prep because you don't have to boil the water or anything, and it's really delicious. The other good thing is it has low sodium content. So all these Mountain House meals have so much sodium, which is okay. I'll talk about that at the end a little bit, but it's nice getting a meal that isn't so high in sodium, and it's not a hot meal. So this is a good meal if you A, don't want to heat up the water, or B, maybe you're on a really hot trip and you don't want to eat a hot breakfast. This is the way to go. Still good protein, still good amount of calories, still a good amount of energy. Anyway, this is probably, all in all, my favorite Mountain House breakfast, and just kind of like a nice snack, so to speak, just because there's no prep, it tastes delicious. But again, you're not getting eggs or hash browns or vegetables or anything like that. You're getting blueberries, fruit, or a berry. But yeah, this breakfast, really good for all of the reasons that I mentioned. All right, day 6 lunch, chicken noodle casserole. It's pretty good. It's quite salty, as I kind of assumed it would. There's 3 servings in this bag, and in those 3 servings is 99% of my daily sodium intake. So a good meal if you're doing a lot of sweating. Pretty tasty, has some mushrooms. I don't really like the ones with mushrooms in them that much, so the beef stroganoff also, which I do actually like the beef stroganoff, has mushrooms, and this was pretty good too. It's kind of chicken noodle soupy, but not really soupy, but kind of those flavors and ingredients. Pretty good, pretty filling, but definitely salty, which for if you're backpacking or doing a lot of labor, again, good, but for me, I'm sitting at a desk, gotta drink a lot of water. All right, for this one, we're going for mac and cheese. Surprising enough, I've actually never had Mountain House mac and cheese. Looks like mac and powdered cheese. This is one that, I don't know, mac and cheese is a little boring to me. I would, if I wasn't doing this challenge, I would add some like hot dogs or maybe some Spam to it, but for now, we'll just have mac and cheese. The mac and cheese is pretty soupy. It's like a bag of nacho cheese, basically. Not my favorite. I love nacho cheese though, so it's not horrible either. But the macaroni seems a little bit chewy, and it tastes more like the powdered nacho cheese packets versus like the mac and cheese you can get with the actual like liquid cheese packets. So anyway, I probably wouldn't choose this one, honestly, but if I had some like hot dogs or something to add to it, I think it could be pretty good. All right, so we've made it to day 7. Breakfast, scrambled eggs with ham and peppers, which honestly isn't my favorite. Probably my least favorite of the breakfasts. Anything that's like all eggs, dehydrated eggs, I don't like that much. But it's not bad also. Tastes a little smoky. It's got some ham, some little chunks of pepper. It's okay, but probably my least favorite of the breakfast meals anyway.
Boiled that quickly?
Mm-hmm. Day 7 lunch. It's super tasty. Pretty simple, pretty salty. There's a lot in here. It's a 3-serving meal, has quite a bit of heft. I would need to be pretty hungry probably to eat the whole thing, but you know, depending on what you're doing, that could be a good thing, or you could share it with somebody, or you know, if you just eat big meals, probably no problem. But yeah, definitely kind of salty. There's some other seasoning. It's mostly rice, not a whole lot of chicken in here. Like you can't even see any chicken on the surface right here. But there are a few pieces. Not a ton of protein in this meal, only 18 grams in this whole 3 servings, so 6 grams per serving. So not a high protein meal, not as much protein as some of the other meals, but pretty hearty meal if you like rice, and I'm Asian, so I do like rice. It was good. This meal doesn't move me. It's not like incredible, but not bad either. Not bad, just kind of a solid, not too polarizing, nourishing meal. Mm-hmm. All right, dinner tonight, we got Italian style pepper steak with rice and tomatoes. I've used my cell phone to film a couple times and it seemed to do better with this kind of stuff, but the audio is probably not as good. So sorry about that. 2 servings, decent amount of protein. Looks pretty decent. I don't like I don't like tomatoes though, so those look like a bunch of chunks of tomatoes, so I honestly probably won't really like this meal that much. I still have the palate of a young child. I started the fire out here on the solo stove. Might need to add a little bit more fuel. I actually collected some little stuff from my yard and from kind of chopping some firewood. So it's got a little chute here. You can just shove some more fuel in. All right, sounds like we got a pretty good boil going on here. Yeah, we do. All right, I didn't measure out the water, unfortunately, so I think I made it a little too soupy. We'll go ahead and close this bag up and let it cook for a sec. So you can kind of see there's some of these might be peppers, some might be tomatoes, but rice and beef. And it's pretty good. I'm alright with peppers, so I'm kind of eating through this, and it tastes like, you know, I'm not sure if I'm eating peppers or tomatoes. The consistency of them in this is pretty similar. It's a little bit bland, but not bad overall. A little bit acidic, so if you're prone to heartburn or something, I'm not. But if you are, it might give you heartburn, but I'm not sure. Anyway, not a bad meal. Okay, guys, that was it. So, some things to note. The meals are pretty high sodium. They're kind of geared towards backpacking. And when you're backpacking, you're sweating and you're exerting a lot of energy and you need to replenish your salt. But for me, like in my normal life, I don't work that hard. I'm a web developer, so I'm not sweating a bunch and stuff. So my salt intake was higher than I would have liked. But for a survival scenario, for a backpacking scenario, for that kind of stuff, you're probably going to be exerting more physical energy and you're going to be sweating and you're going to want to replenish those salts. So the high salt, the high sodium content, not great for day to day, but I think not bad for a survival scenario. And the main thing that I like about Mountain House meals is that they're all inclusive. It's like a full meal and it's really good. But for me personally, in the end of the world kind of scenario, or just a grid down scenario or a natural disaster scenario, if you want to stretch that food further for cheaper, then you get some staples like some rice and some beans, and then you mix it, 50-50 or whatever, Mountain House, with a bunch of rice. And that's a lot tastier than just eating rice, or with a bunch of beans or whatever. Something that's just kind of hearty. You can mix the deliciousness of the Mountain House in with other stuff to make it last longer, to feed more people. I didn't do that in this video because I just wanted to eat them out of the bag. But for like a survivalist, prepper type mindset, store some staples too, and you can mix all this stuff in with it. Anyway, again, I'll link down below to all of this stuff that I ate. There's all kinds of different flavors. There's a bunch of different types. I had a bunch of different meals. I think I had a different meal every time, except I think I ate like 2 breakfasts twice. Like they don't have as much variety in the breakfasts, I think. Anyway, this is pretty good. I'm not saying you have to try it, but if you do try it, let me know. Tag me or something. Maybe this will be like a Mountain House challenge, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. But if you want to do it, do it. Anyway, again, sorry for the weird video. I thought it would be fun. Hope you liked it. Hit that thumbs up button. As always, in all my videos, ask me questions or leave comments down below for the algorithm, or just ask me questions, because a lot of the videos I make are in reply to the questions and the comments that I get on these videos. So let me know what you're thinking. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not. And until next time, take care.